All right, you're asking for it, so here it is. Listen to this.
I want you fucking laughing at. We partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, swinging, all that shit, dog. We sweating, getting wet, all that.
All right, welcome to the 166th. Shit, I knew I was gonna mess that up. 166th episode of the Drinking Partners podcast. I was gonna give it to Mario Lemieux, but nope. It is Ohio Day today, baby. We are in the building. This episode is dedicated to the 2008 and 2009 Cleveland Cavaliers because we won exactly 66 regular season games on our way to not winning the championship but being happy as fuck. All right? We in the building today. I am half of your hosting tandem, Ed Bailey. I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Dave Bracey. Say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and Google Play under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. 166 episodes, man. We've been asking y'all, and we will continue to ask you. Please hop on iTunes, rate and review. That's how we know we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well. And that's how we continue to do well. So please hop on iTunes, rate and review.
Hey, look, you love us. You see us in public. You tell us you love us. Now, at the click of a button, please tell the internet, tell the world, tell them how much you love Ohio because we in the building today. I'm hyped, man. You don't even and this is the first day, like the Cavs about to get on the floor now for our 2018 championship run. I'm calling it. I'm claiming it. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the Pens on a three-peat, though. You know what I mean?
Speaking about the Pens, man. This ain't Pens Day.
Mario, you know what I mean?
Hey, damn it. You know how much I go through at work?
Hail Mario.
On Penguin Fridays. You know, that don't even sound right. They got casual Penguin Fridays. Motherfuckers coming in with house slippers and shit. Like, it's just crazy.
Any reason to wear a jersey and dad jeans.
I'm just saying they doing this shit in the hospitals and everything. It's like, I don't want my doctor coming in talking about he about to give me a colonoscopy with a Penguin sweater on.
And you know he ain't washed that shit because it's the lucky Penguin. You know what I mean? They going on 3 championships. He ain't washed that in about 3 years.
He got a baby he delivered on there. Like, goddamn. But look, you love us, and if you do leave a review, it may get read on the podcast, much like this one here, titled "Love the Show" by Click on Clay. Click _ Clay. So,
okay.
All right,
is that a Play-Doh company?
I don't. Man, this sounds kind of like a wrestler.
Click on Clay,
but his fighting style is like Rey Mysterio. Like he's an athletic wrestler. He's not strength.
He's got a mask.
Yeah. So Click on Clay writes, dug into the podcast on my last long road trip. Love the content, and it's funny as hell. Although I'm not sure how I feel about there is the wrong there, but we're going to let that slide. Top 5 barbecue choices, but I'll get past it. Look who's talking. Keep it killing it. All right. First and foremost, there is THEIR in that instance, since you're going to want to be a dickhead about shit, since you want to critique my barbecue choices. But I'm thinking you was mad at Day.
Nah,
because Day
not at all.
Green bean casserole.
Click on Clay is definitely a white dude.
Pasta salad.
He's definitely a white dude, and he definitely appreciates a green bean casserole.
Well, Click on Clay, probably a white guy, and he's still mad about green bean. Don't bring your green. It's getting warm outside, so don't bring your fucking green bean casserole. Hey, man,
if you're a white person, please bring green bean casserole. That's the only motherfucking thing I can trust at that table.
You'll get treated like,
if you invite me to a motherfucking party and it's a white party, bring the green bean casserole.
I can't believe you still
that
holding
mac
that
and cheese
position.
Ain't cracking me.
I can't believe you holding that position, even after the Saturday Night Live when the Black Panther told leave your bland ass potato salad at home. He talking about don't fuck with potato salad, bring a green bean casserole. No, yeah, it was on mine. But he was talking to a white person. The only people who have ever brought green bean casserole to they just bring the drinks to the cookouts back home. Just bring the drinks. Yeah. Oh shit, did we lose listeners because I said that shit? My fault. Y'all can bring a plate. We ain't gonna eat it.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's easy.
Cookouts is the only time adults can act like children. Because you ever give a child some shit they ain't like, and they let you know, like, I don't eat that. Like, you can do that at cookouts. Yeah, as a grown ass man.
Yeah, You know what? I'm still, flip the plate over and put it on top and like mush it down type. Yeah, I mean, I try to wait until nobody's paying attention, and then
You a plate abolitionist? Yeah. you free that bland ass potato salad. You free that motherfucker.
Right on top, upside down, like hide the shame.
Oh no, we didn't shout out the Conways and the Car Guy DJ for the first time. That's on me. I can't believe it, but I popped back in. They like important to me.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I thought about it and I feel bad. I feel like I gotta send them flowers and a card. Like we gotta redo this shit.
We ain't gonna get a bottle at our next show.
Oh
man.
my God, I done fucked it up, man. You don't understand. Like we got such dedicated fans. They bring us shots of Hennessy. So in lieu of rates and reviews, as always, we will accept shots of Hennessy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Car Guy DJ and the Conways who
Yeah.
started the trend.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday. I'm laying it on thick because
Yeah.
I'm trying to come back home, baby. I'm trying to come back home, baby.
Working for that yak.
Work for that yak.
Hey, speaking of events, man, we got every third Saturday of the month. You could catch us down at Arcade Comedy Theater, man. We're always bringing the funny, always BYOB, and always a craft beer sponsor giving out free beer, man. So check us out every third Saturday.
This one's April 21st.
We really be
nasty
drinking.
Motherfucker. Early in the episode.
Man. I'm sorry, man, especially in front of a lady. But April 21st, arcadecomedytheater.com.
Yeah, and April 28th, you know what I mean? We're down back at Contra Theater every last Saturday of the month. We're down at Contra Theater April 28th. On the 21st, we got Chris Allen headlining.
Yeah.
He's coming from out of Chicago.
DC.
DC.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
DC
Chocolate
coming through.
City.
Yeah.
Chocolate City is normally the other way around. People leave Pittsburgh and go to DC.
Yeah.
We're trying to break them back. You know what I mean? Shout out to Chris Allen, started the trend.
Trying to import the black
We're
youth.
trying to
you know what I mean?
import from Chocolate City. So we got Chris Allen headlining on April 21st. We got Tom Musial headlining at Contra Theater on April 28th. So come see us. Fuck with us.
Truth. And then we got the we got the Black Beer Festival. First Black Beer Festival
Fresh
in
Fest.
Pittsburgh. Fresh Fest 2018, man. We got black brewers coming from all around the country coming in to serve you up their wares. And also we got local brewers. We're doing a cool thing. We got local brewers pairing up with black artists and entrepreneurs to collaborate on beers to be presented at the festival. The goal of this is to start a conversation between the black community and the craft beer community because, you know, there's not a lot of us in these. I mean, I don't know if you've been to them, but it ain't a lot of us.
That's a mumble
there.
I can kind of agree with, but that's the last one, motherfucker. Don't mumble the rest of this episode.
Hey, so, you know, we want to get that conversation started or whatever, and we all want to have a, good time. It's an inclusive event. Some of the brewers we got out, I mean, we got a fuck ton. We got Black Frog coming in, Union Craft, Harlem, White Lion, Cajun Fire, Band of Brothers, East End, Voodoo, Dancing Gnome, Full Pint, Spoonwood, Rock Bottom, Black Star Line, Shoe Brew, Hitchhiker, Honesty, the Harris Family Brewery, Bloom Brew, Butler, Mindful, Hop Farm, man, this shit is Rams and Parrots, Threadbare, Wiggle, and Apis, man, and we're
That was like
adding
the Funk Flex freestyle
Yo.
breweries, yo.
and we keep adding more breweries. So check that out. That's August 11th down at Threadbare, and you can catch tickets at freshfestbeerfest.com. Man, it's going to be a hell of an event.
That's a very thorough commercial, man. Very thorough. I'm just add a little bit on. Be the change you want to see, man. We want to see more representation here in the Burgh. We try to rep the craft city. We can rep us as well. So let's come out, man. Let's make something new happen. And speaking of first times, that'll take us into the Ohio motherfucking episode, man. We turned this joint. They you upset? Didn't y'all just win?
No, we actually lost the last
Oh
game,
shit, that make it doubly nice. Doubly nice. You know what I'm saying?
But we're represented in the playoffs. So,
you are in the playoffs.
Yeah, we are represented there. So,
and we got our guest, man. This is a long time coming. She's coming here, man. The first woman mayor of Wilkinsburg, and I don't even know how to like that. That feels like I'm not doing it enough justice.
Nah, there should be like some horns in there, some bells.
See, now when I wanted to, I wanted to say honorable, but I was told that you don't put people on the spot with that. You don't put. Yes, the first woman mayor of Wilkinsburg is in the building. And of course, she's from Akron, Ohio, and that's who's gonna lead us to this playoff victory tonight. Cleveland and Akron working together on April 15th. we want to welcome Marita Garrett in here. Say what up to the people.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Day, for having me. Thank you, Buzzy. Been a great host, too.
Really like the guests that throw Buzzy in
that is honorable as hell. She's good at her job. She's like,
I was about to say.
Think about all the people.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that's just training. Like, she's like, let me acknowledge. All right, she walked in the room, scans for contributors. She got a Metal Gear contributor scan.
Always campaigning.
That is a skill, man.
Oh my God, you guys are crazy. I love it.
Nah, but well, thank you for coming out, man. So what's good in Wilkinsburg? How's life changed? Yeah.
Life has changed. It's really a continuation. I think when people find out now I'm mayor, they thought, I previously was on council, and they think all of a sudden maybe horns were going to come out of the air, and then I would have a scepter and, have an entourage or something. But no, it's the same.
Like gang,
right, just roll deep in here.
Like,
no.
Click with the pictures and the, the little note board or whatever. They're like, all right, you got 10 minutes here, and then we're on to the...
Right, and it's just me, so it's still stayed the same. But I'm grateful for the people for voting me, electing me in as mayor, and I'm just really excited to get to work and show the goodness that is Wilkinsburg. We have a not to get too deep right away, but we have a little bit of a perception issue, and I want to change that. I want people to know good things are happening in Wilkinsburg.
Yeah, I mean, my dad grew up in Wilkinsburg or whatever.
Concrete Jungle? Is that what it's still called?
I don't know. Is it the Concrete Jungle?
That's what my homie from Pitt used to call it. He was from Wilkinsburg. He called it the Concrete Jungle. That was just what I thought of Wilkinsburg.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of concrete.
Yeah, there is. A lot of weeds. But,
I would call it a jungle. But yeah, no, I do love Wilkinsburg. I mean, it has gone through a lot of change over the last 30 or 40 years. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, it does have a perception. I mean, and it is a beautiful neighborhood. There's a lot of, there's still a sense of neighborhood there, and at least a lot of the people that I knew there are still like kind of there. Some of the old ladies that on the block or whatever that I grew up around are still there as well. So like it's still like I feel like there's a lot of flux in a lot of black neighborhoods in Pittsburgh, and like Wilkinsburg has seen at least in my lifetime, has seemed to, remain kind of steady in a sense.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that. And that's one of the things I really like about our community. We have about 16,000 people, but a lot of them are long-term residents. A lot of them are, fifth, sixth generation, have no plans on leaving. And that sense of community that you just said. So actually, in a way, Wilkinsburg reminds me a little bit of Akron. Akron was a place you could write 330-412.
Ooh, they don't know about that 330.
Okay, well, you guys are going to learn by the end of this episode. And so just like the green space, having a yard, having, sidewalks, not being sitting on top of each other and having parks, green space. And so that's something that I really like about Wilkinsburg and that sense of community. I have neighbors, and I think they're the greatest because they'll say, hey, I saw a strange car down the street, just letting you know. Call police. Like, they're all alert.
Y'all got a neighborhood watch?
Yeah.
I was just watching that episode of Martin last night. The neighborhood watch.
Wait, was that the one where you had the fake dog?
No. You're thinking of Nino Brown. That's classic.
Okay, that's
when this Walkman came up missing.
Yeah,
the neighborhoods where his apartment got robbed. And I don't even know how deeply we can discuss this. Could people be suing now? Like, I'm giving away the plot. It's just technically a spoiler. Like, it's just like 20 years old. You mad that I told you about that?
You gotta wait for the 25th anniversary. You gotta wait for the box set.
Okay, before I openly discuss.
Yeah,
okay,
until the box set
we'll
comes
leave it
out.
there. We'll leave it there. So, but it's good to have involved inhabitants of the neighborhood. I would imagine. And that's not the perception that I was, again, being a transplant, and you understand. Yeah. So a lot of times, people only know what the residents are telling them. Like, if you work out in the city, you're working with people from different neighborhoods. So as a transplant, I'm hearing about Wilkinsburg, and I was never there. I never went there. Like, it was just like, yo, you just don't be in Wilkinsburg. But it's cool. Like, it is like back home. I'm from Cleveland. Like, it's like back home now. I do the green space. I just want to commend you on that, like that being a focus, because there is no grass in Pittsburgh. I don't understand. Like backyards just be big hills.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
fuck is my backyard just a hill, fam?
But that's the thing. Like I had a yard on a hill, and like that is the worst yard. Like it was all weed whack. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I was about to say, do you cut it? Like,
yeah,
it's
like
steep as fuck?
I would have preferred to just pave that over as a kid, and then put a car in that way, something. You know what I mean? Like that. Nah, all these hills.
So that's Ohio 1. Pennsylvania is
It
nothing
is.
on this episode because we got mad grass.
Yes,
because all that
flat.
shit's flat.
Flat.
Yeah.
No snow days.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I do appreciate the flatness of Ohio.
You don't have to call off because your kid's school is closed. No, we
Right.
don't close school. Motherfuckers just walk in the street.
Right, that's what.
You ain't shoveling the sidewalk. That's cool. They just walk in the street. Motherfuckers just got to drive slow. I lived on a main ass street. We just walked in the street. Nobody shoveled their sidewalk.
So true.
But listen, if nobody shovels it, they ain't go. Who gonna come
Yeah.
get a ticket?
Yeah.
Who gonna walk down the street and give you the ticket?
My thing is,
get
I
my
would
mail today.
prefer like a deep snow than like you shoveled it once and then let it get icy and then I'm slipping and sliding. At least the snow gives you some traction.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like I don't know.
Well, the streets were salted by the city, so
You're good to go.
we were good because we was walking. We wasn't fucking with the sidewalk. It just be like mad driveways shoveled on the street, nowhere to walk. They just assume like if you walking, fuck it, you really got to get there. you motivate.
Used to this life.
You motivated. Like, if you walking to this, you
Oh,
motivated.
my
My little 10 feet stretch of land, they go help. That's the worst when you walk and you can get on the sidewalk for a minute, but then you got to get back.
Right back on the
Yeah.
street.
Damn.
Yeah.
So what about Wilkinsburg? What is it about Wilkinsburg that attracted you? Being a transplant and what you
Being a
living there?
yeah. So graduated from Pitt, hailed to Pitt, and lived in Highland Park. And about 2008, 2009, right when the prices were starting to change in that area, East Liberty, Highland Park, and you see some of the homes around there, they're asking $200,000 for the backyard that's a hill. And I was like, no, I think we can do better. And so just really started driving around and seeing like one of the benefits about Wilkinsburg, we're our own municipality, but we're right next to Pittsburgh. I mean, a lot of people think Wilkinsburg is another neighborhood of
swear,
Pittsburgh.
man,
I was house hunting.
Yeah.
Right, then you find out about those taxes, right?
Wilkinsburg
Then
is outside of where
Right.
that Realtor.com shades black. You're like, wait, Wilkinsburg, right? Move it over a little bit.
Yeah.
But exactly, a lot of people think that, and and that's one of the things when being in office, making sure people understand, we're not a part of the city of Pittsburgh. You're gonna learn that real quick, especially if you are a homeowner, because those taxes
are a
will,
little
yes, just a little bit.
Different.
And so, so that was one of the things is the affordability of it. I mean, my mortgage is still lower than what I'm seeing some of these micro lofts go for around here. And again, I have a driveway and a real yard. Yes, those micro lofts with the steel balcony and paper walls. So, the fact that we're still affordable and that we're still a small community, but we're really dense. So it's like wide. A lot of people don't realize like how big Wilkinsburg is. Wilkinsburg is a part of Regent Square. Wilkinsburg is right next to Penn Hills, Churchill, Forest Hills, Edgewood, Swissvale, Homewood, East Hills. All paths and all streets lead to Wilkinsburg.
Yeah, that 221 covers like 8 different neighborhoods.
Yeah, it does.
You don't know where you are with that
Right.
in 221. You're like, all right.
Yeah, Penn Avenue, man. You gotta go through Penn.
Yeah, you have to. The Parkway closed, you're coming down Penn Avenue.
yeah.
Route 30 now, you're coming through Penn Avenue.
Man, them tunnels is
Yeah.
like. I mean, it's because it's spring. I'm thinking about traffic. I'm just thinking about driving home after this podcast. This traffic is just ridiculous, man.
It'll be like 7 o'clock on a Sunday,
It
man.
don't even matter,
It
man.
is still,
Yeah,
right.
don't even matter. There's orange codes everywhere,
Right.
and it's crazy. I was watching the local news like this morning or whatever. It just happened to be on. I flipped through, and like they spent like a good like 3 or 4 minutes on like the traffic changes or whatever, like, and it was like, oh, if you're coming down 279, like, all right, and it was video, and like, I'm looking at this, you get a half hour to cover the world's events, the entire world. You spent 3 minutes trying to teach somebody how to go through the like follow the cones,
Right,
like,
right.
you know what I mean? Because it was like, oh, well, this is a traffic change, so what you're gonna do is, hold on, it's coming up here. You're gonna follow the cones, and then you're gonna come down here, and then you're gonna follow the cones. And I'm like, what?
Well, you got to understand, we give people too much credit for being able to understand shit. Like, you kind of do need to give that direction on them cones, because people in people in traffic in the morning, you don't tell her who the fuck you driving behind.
The morning news, Ed,
Right,
before you go, like, all right,
who the
which
fuck
cone? Which cone is it?
And then you don't know who you driving behind at 8 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, on a Tuesday,
real.
these motherfuckers, they
real.
can't drive. Like, people
so
don't know
real.
where they go, they can't drive. You threw a cone out there. First of all, once they see the cone, they gotta spend at least 67 seconds complaining about the cone in which they see. You're approaching this shit at 35, and we need to figure this out first.
Yeah, I have seen quite a few flattened cones, and I mean, like, some folks just didn't get it right, but are dedicating like a good 5 minutes on trying to teach people which cones. Man, you know what? That's Darwinism,
He
man.
ain't sitting out there in the morning no more, so he don't give a fuck, man. Because first of all, when you get in the car, you already running late to work. You already
That's
running
real.
late.
Yeah,
Then you run into some shit. You done got the commute time to the minute. You know what I mean? I gotta be there by 8:30. I can leave as late as 8:13 if I make these 2 laps.
Yeah. Oh, I count the roll out of bed. You know what I mean? I make sure my shoes is, you know what I mean? The nice, easy slip-ons. Just down to the second.
Yeah. But then this motherfucker done got lost and tried to bust a Yui and then back shit up.
Pittsburgh Live.
Because he didn't watch the news and hear about them cones. Now, I'm interested though. Now you have to deal with these things. These things these are part of your job now. So you can complain, but you also have to affect change. And so in a city like Pittsburgh, where we get all 4 seasons, like real spring, summer, fall, winter, like we get real seasons. And like there was a neighborhood where the road fell off the side of the road.
Yeah.
So
that's
like,
real, yeah.
how do you watch that, like, in your position? How do you make sure that these things don't happen or affect us? Because road rage is a real thing.
Yeah, like,
It's
how much
very
of your
real.
hate mail is like, salt these roads?
Right. Oh my
But the salting is why
So
I saw
many
the
cones,
potholes.
right, that's
Like,
exactly. And people don't understand that. So actually, if I can do a quick PSA, when it snows, you can't fix the potholes, because when it gets warm again, just to snow again, it's going to expand and make the pothole worse. So you actually have to let the pothole sit there before you put the hot patch on it. That's just my little quick PSA.
Yeah,
You
For
just
everybody
did a lot
was
for
wondering,
people.
yes,
Yeah.
right.
You just did a
That's-
whole lot
that's
for
what-
me
in January.
But she just did a whole lot for my understanding. Like, you don't know how that was therapeutic right there. Can we isolate that? You just put it to
right.
that music that you get on the Amazon Echo. You be like, you be like, whatever the chick name is, Chelsea or whatever the fuck the thing is. I want to relax. And then you start playing BB King. Like, cool.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you should definitely isolate that and open the whole podcast with that. PSA. Stop hitting me up in January about these potholes, bruh.
Shit we can do about it.
But so on the real talk, so one of the great things is we have an amazing department of public works, and those guys are out there making sure the snow is getting plowed, it is getting salted, and that our roads are paved. We've been driving through Wilkinsburg lately. At least 100 of our streets have been newly paved, so we can insert some claps or something. Yes, thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Came with receipts.
Yes,
Yeah.
facts. And so it's really about having a great team. Even though people think in my role as mayor, I quote unquote run the city, but no one person can run anything. So we have a great DPW, great code enforcement, great administrative staff, great finance, and a great police department. So I'm really fortunate to your face. What was that, Dave? What was that?
I mean, you say
Again,
that.
Wilkinsburg
No, words
Police.
don't
Wait,
mean nothing to some
Wilkinsburg
people.
Police Department is different than the Pittsburgh Police
That's
Department.
true.
So I just want to make sure
But yeah,
people know we have
Yeah.
our own police department.
No, yeah, my dad worked for the Wilkinsburg Police Department.
Really?
So yeah.
Oh.
No, people don't know.
Do
Oh.
cops
yeah,
discipline their
yeah,
kids
long.
different?
Okay, yeah.
He don't discipline you different. He don't like.
I mean, it's more like a military type thing, it's more like a tough love kind of, it's they're like military type people or whatever. It's more fraternal kind of like, he has that kind of, but I think like most dads are like that in some sense. Like if you grew up with a sports dad, he has like a sports kind of, like coach mentality or whatever. So
Any
but it
boot
was-
camp? Did you have to do anything?
No.
Okay.
Did you get in trouble in stages? Like there was an interrogation, there was a booking.
I just assumed that if I did something, he already knew. Yeah, I mean, like it wasn't even I could try to get past my mom and anybody else. With him, he'd just give me the look, and I'd be like, "Hey, yo, I did it. I did that shit."
See, I ain't even gonna lie. Like I had one of the dads that I knew he only do what my mom's told me. So the whole thing was to only make mommy mad enough to where she disciplined you herself, but won't take it to pops. Because once she took it to pops, it's over. It's over. Now all the hell done broke. First of all, my dad was a lecturer, so he lectured you for like. Don't let me get on this. So, all right. Yeah. Them lecturing dads, that shit hurt more than the spanking, man.
Yeah.
Especially when they move out, then they got to come pick you up to lecture you. Oh, nigga, what?
Yeah, the car ride lecture.
Just riding around the block getting lectured. Just riding on that fucking street.
Your mom told me you was acting up.
That's so mafioso style. Get in the car. He ain't even driving. You got your older sister driving the car. Y'all in the back. This motherfucker lecturing the hell out of you. Get out, you got blood on your collar.
I was about to say, yeah, because you know the pop is coming at some point. You
just walking out. Your mama, she in there washing dishes, watching you walk in. Told you I was gonna tell her.
Oh man.
No, so okay, so now we're dealing with so you deal with all the departments that we only hear about in the crises as like a civilian.
Right.
But I would imagine in these positions, and it's something that like at work we were talking about, just different age groups, dealing with work. And so you being a millennial, do you now have to deliver like messages to, baby boomers and shit like that? Like how do you manage that within the context of like government?
Yeah. How can you
Sorry,
say this?
because we kind of playful and then we say some serious shit.
Right.
We be drinking.
I know, right?
We be drinking like all ranges of emotion come out.
All of it. Woo, I was still laughing at lecturing dad, and now here we are. Okay. I think a lot of the people in the borough, when something hasn't been working for so long, you're excited to see change. Most people are excited to see change and something fresh. And so a lot of people, or a lot of the staff, especially our police chief, really just excited to see like a fresh take on things. So love the fact that, I create Facebook events and I can share things and I can repost and I put it on Instagram or I retweet or something, because then it's getting the word out. It's great to put flyers on the bulletin boards. That's great. But you need to do more than you.
Being a commentator, but like, you should put a flyer up on this pole. I'm like, when's the last time you walked past the pole and was like, that's my Friday?
Right.
When the last time you got a flyer and been happy about it?
In that situation.
You come back out the club and there's a flyer on your car, you ready to duff somebody on sight. Like, fuck, put this shit in my window.
You gotta disguise a flyer as a coupon. You know what I mean? It's gotta, unless I'm getting some money off on this.
Go to certain ATMs. Yeah. Look at your receipt. On the back of your fucking receipt. Oh, god damn.
I was talking about flyers. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
The politics, and we were talking about AAA about that, like bringing like politics into the new millennium.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Aaron, okay. It took me a while. I was like, what you talking to?
No, that's cool. Our politicians now have nicknames.
Right.
They got nicknames.
So I'm a little slow on that. Shout out to Ariane. But yes, so, Facebook Live videos, whenever we have events, if we don't have a good turnout or if everyone can't make it to an event because it's at 11 a.m. or noon, Facebook Live, you reach people. Newsletters, online, we have a Facebook page now. So they're really excited about that, because then especially when you show them like how many people have liked something, how many people have shared, it's amazing. It changes the game.
Oh, yeah.
So,
analytics,
they do.
So I'm thinking, though, like, I feel like the civilians would like that, but then the people within government, the old heads, they may not like that level of transparency. Like, yo, I'm going to bring you, if you didn't make it to the meeting, I'm going to bring you into it. I'm going to bring you to your laptop. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. So have you gotten pushback on that? Like, I know this is where society's going.
Yeah, in the beginning, I did. When I was on council, I was chair of the social media and promotions committee. So we still had some people who were like, "Well, we still have to mail out the letter because the seniors." They were still saying the seniors didn't have access to computers and stuff. And I was just like, when I go to Douglas Plaza, all of them have iPhones, better phones than me. So they're on the internet, they're signing up, and baby boomers are in their mid 60s, and so they grew up with computers, but in the 90s when you start having computer labs or whatever like that. So it's not a foreign thing. Everybody at this point in time has a smartphone, and you just click on a button, you sign up for email. Everybody has a Gmail. Somebody's great grandma has a Gmail. So it's about bringing the information to the people because we get a core group of maybe 6 people who come out to our council meetings.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys, the first 2 Wednesday, I'm sorry, they changed it. The first and third Wednesday of the month, we meet at 7 p.m. Another PSA.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to reach. And I think a large part of government, especially these days, I mean, I think always, like Ed had alluded to or whatever, but it is that kind of that secretive, kind of you look at, the suppression of education and voter suppression and, all those, those tactics to keep people from being aware and voting and active or whatever. I mean, so, hearing that, 6 people or whatever, I can see how, trying to get to the people that actually may be interested, but don't, because, I don't read mail that isn't like a bill. You know what I mean? Like outside of that, all these extra flyers or whatever. So if there's a town meeting, I'm not even.
Right.
It's
I
just
don't read
another.
The bills. Yeah. You sending me mail for? I got you online. I'm signed up. Sending me a bill in the mail. I know what the fuck I owe you.
No, you got to get the tickets these days now, with the turnpike and all that. They send it, they just capture your dip, and then they send you a bill in the mail now.
Oh, with the picture of your license
plate?
Yeah,
your picture, license plate, and they send it. You know what I mean? So some of that, but like you said, most of it is online. I just, and every once in a while, when I'm late, they'll be like, "Hey, you late, bro." Like, I know I was late, buddy. And I just throw it in the garbage.
I was late on purpose. Bill collectors who are listening, our listeners who work for collection agencies and things like that. I know what I owe you.
Yeah, that was a calculator.
I know when that check is gonna come that I'm gonna pay you. Yeah. That check ain't come yet.
You got to get on the Tuesday.
I planned it. It's the second check of the month. The first check goes to bills. The second got the play money. Just wait. Just wait a second. Just give me time. I'm on it, fam.
So what are some of the I guess because coming in as a transplant and also being a black woman in politics in a area, in a city that isn't, the most friendly to, black people or women.
Right.
But, what are some of the insights and some of the perspectives that you've gained and maybe some of the hurdles, moving into, say, a mayoral position?
Yeah. I was just gonna say, don't listen to older men, but basically,
kind of
right? Kind of should,
hey, yes,
right?
I agree with
right.
you on that. Yeah.
Track record has shown.
We can
the older they get, the trashier they get.
We're mature now. We understand.
Yeah.
All that shit your uncle told you was cool when you was 16. When you was 16, it was dope. That shit didn't quite work out when you was 27. You was like, the fuck, nigga?
Yeah.
Is this why you not married, fam?
If they drove caddies in the 60s, you might want to steer clear.
You got to extract the lessons from uncles. In random situations, you extract the lessons.
Yeah.
Don't listen to none of the words they tell you. All uncles' lessons come from action.
You got to throw that through a strainer, take a couple nuggets out, and keep it moving.
Pretty much. Pretty much. But, you get a lot of men who, and those same uncles who maybe don't take their own advice. So you had a lot of people say, no, don't wait wait your turn. Like there was some line to run for council, some line to run for mayor, etc.
Because they put in their time and this is the way it's been. And
exactly.
Who are you to come in and be like, yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Or don't run against another woman.
Ooh.
But men run against men all the time. So just a lot of things that they don't take their own advice. And then also, especially in this region, the endorsement process. Everybody talks about, you got to be endorsed. You got to be endorsed. Well, my local Democratic committee did not endorse me for either race. And still came on top. So that's when it's really about the...
She's like, I don't run the city,
right,
but I'm just...
64%. Thank you, everybody.
So, how did
Stats. You got stats.
Yeah, how did you bypass? I mean, like, because in politics, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
An endorsement by the party or whatnot.
Right.
Like, and like you said, like, going to the local paper or the local unions and like all that or whatever. Like, how did you like bypass that? What was your like, like, clearly you resonated with the people in some way. Like, what do you believe that way was?
It was the people. It's doing the work. I never talked about my opponents or anything like that. I kept it to what I had done on council, what I plan to do, and what we will continue to do. And you bring people with you, especially in local government. And as we see, especially with this Congress race we just had last month, every vote counts. Like, I know, there have been races in Wilkinsburg where it's been tied. And what happens is that when a vote is tied or election is tied, they go down to the county and it's a coin toss.
I was about to say,
so
they
it's a
flip
coin
coin.
toss. Yeah, that's it.
You can't get a debate out of it?
No.
Yeah.
Right.
A survey?
Right.
God damn. Something with a Scantron.
Yeah,
I need a Scantron involved where you got to fill in that little, you got to put your name, but one bubble at a time. Oh, that made me mad.
You got a Jeopardy round or something? Like, we going to do a lightning round? Like,
we lived through Scantrons. We old as fuck. Like,
yo,
a kid, throw a Scantron in front of a
do kids
16-year-old
still
right
use
now.
Scantron? No.
Throw a
the
Scantron
bubbles.
in front of a 16-year-old.
Because that was legit. That was legit because it was like, are you sure that's a number 2, bro? You know that's a number 2.
Oh, and if you didn't study, you was looking at the pattern you created. You look at the Scantron. Nah, that shit don't look right.
Abracadabra. Abracadabra. Or C all the way down. I'm going to at least get a D off of this. Wow.
C was the go-to.
That was it.
C was the go-to.
So old. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I didn't know they weren't still doing that.
Nah,
They got a whole...
ain't doing no Scantrons. How inefficient is that? Imagine if you had one of these hyphenated last names. You just type. You like, is there a bubble for a hyphen? What do I do? How do we know that this is just one string of letters? This is a double entendre. Like, come on, man. Help me out.
Number 2s. That was an issue, man. I only got pens, bruh.
Oh, bruh.
Yeah, I mean, you show up with just the pen and your dip. Like,
That's why that's where men learn we got to have a team.
Yeah.
You got to have a team. You got to have either a team of dudes who holding you down or, you know how to speak to women and extract. You got to extract the pencil. Because it's that one person in class, they have more pencils than they need.
Everybody,
Fuck, we got all these pencils for,
Yeah.
fam. We all doing the same homework.
The bank. Yeah, that was the bank. And he came to see you afterwards. Hey, bruh, I know you got my red one. And you know I got you got my red one, bruh. Let me get that back off.
Yeah, let
you,
me hold that. Let me hold that.
Yo, man, I got this next class real quick. I swear I got you at the end of the day. Like, go pencil
You
fight
ain't
with
never
it.
got no supplies. You know, listen, you know by the third day of we gonna start really doing work. First week is easy, but we start on Friday. By Wednesday, we gonna do real work. You gotta have your shit. Cause parents you don't have new shit on the first day. You might if your first day fell towards the end, they'll wait because that check always came after day one.
Yeah,
that check always came. So you wore the shit that you just got last winter.
That summer outfit or whatever.
That last winter, because we wore a uniform, so the shirt that looked newest.
Yeah.
And then you got all your fresh shit. That next Wednesday you came in stunt shit creased.
We had a Kennywood picnic. So that was always over the summer. So you got a Kennywood picnic outfit.
Okay.
And if moms ain't come through with the first day, that Kennywood picnic outfit would be the first day. And then, like you said, as soon as that check came in, because then they shoes because they came in with the white shoes, the white soles, and they had a little bit of a scuff. I came in Wednesday glossing
Oh, that's when jeans used to be shiny.
Yeah, we used to press jeans.
Shiny jeans? We had shiny jean outfits. That's a top and bottom shine.
Oh, yeah.
top and bottom shine.
couldn't
And it had to
iron
say
them.
Jabot on that.
You couldn't put the iron on like, you know what I mean? You had to keep it like a cool type of iron because it was like a plasticky type.
We don't know what that, because if you creased it too much, that crease never left.
Nah, it was good. It was
That
there.
crease never left. You had to be very, very specific with how you folded to crease that motherfucker. Because if you once you get the double crease, once it looks like a Google map at the top,
it looked like the point.
that shit over with.
It looked like the point up there.
That shit over with. But no, this is where I think what I love about politics, because obviously we had AAA, you know what I mean, on here, and just younger people affecting the city on that level. Is that the future of politics altogether? Like,
It has to be. I mean, because you can only live to a certain point. So the new people have to come in. It's younger blood, and soon it's going to be the next generation. You see the high schoolers doing their walkouts. They're getting ready to be eligible for Congress or whatever in another 10 years. So it's the wave, and I think sometimes, especially in this region, because the old boys club and just this whole intergenerational gap, sometimes older generations view the younger, especially the millennials, as a threat. And I don't think it's that we're trying to be disrespectful or something, but when, you're told, oh, you got to wait your turn, or, you still have about 10, 20 more years to this, there's only so much waiting you can do. I don't think we're waiting for people to pass the torch anymore. We don't want people to die in office. We don't have term limits here in Pennsylvania. So that's been something. Term limits. Yes.
Yeah, I knew he was coming. He adjusted his mic. Term limits. Term limits was coming. He was already on it. He was on
Any politician I hear, I see, I get a chance with. What about these term limits?
Right.
Let's go with these limits.
Right.
Let's go with this turnover.
We
like,
need them.
need to increase this turnover, man. Because babysitting,
turnover
man.
shit is low as fuck.
Ooh, they be sitting.
Yeah,
they be sitting.
they do.
And that's the thing is that like. And that's why Cronus ate his kids, you know what I mean? Like, because he thought they were going to at some point, like, grow old and eat him, yeah? Like, they would, like, take over his thing. So, like, I see the older people, like, kind of holding the younger people off because they don't want to be dethroned. They like the way things are or whatever. Then there's that stigma of, like, oh, you just don't know what you're talking about, this and the other. And, like, I'm in that middle age range, like 35 or whatever. So like, I look at the youth and like all the like the new ideas that they're bringing to the table or whatever. And I grow as a person from like, I didn't know this was offensive to certain people. So now I grow as a result of that. But I also learn from the older folks, like, like this, because they do have those lessons. They have lived a life, and like some of the things that I thought when I was 20, I'm 35 now, and I'm like, that wasn't the way it was. You know what I mean? So I could kind of see why, like, an older person might be like, maybe you want to live a little bit more time or whatever. But at the same time, like, not everybody grows at the same rate. And there's some 25-year-olds out there that have way more knowledge and experience than I do. You know what I mean? And may ever will. You know what I mean? Like, so, I don't think it should stay in that, like, oh, you just got to wait until you're like 35, 40, 80, you know what I mean, to like get into whatever. Like, but term limits, that like getting that, you've been sitting on that seat for 40 years.
Yes.
What do you like? I mean, you're a career politician
I
at that
don't
point.
trust something. Like, are you not even trying to advance? Like, this is your career. You're not trying to advance at all. Like, you just like, so if this is it, then you living off of this is it. Like, and I don't know if I need to be under the leadership of this is it.
No, you don't. And we shouldn't. We shouldn't settle for that. And I think we've settled for so long where you have those 40-year plus. And I feel in any role, you hit a certain level of effectiveness. And I agree with you. If you think you're really great at that, then take it to the next level. But just to stay in one role that whole time, I think is kind of problematic. So even when I was on council, I said at the most I would do 2 terms. I'm not going to be a mayor for life. And whatever I do, I'm not going to be for life, because I believe in 2 words, succession planning. So
I was just about to ask you, like, if you're really good at your job, why are you there for 40 years? You should be grooming somebody to come in so that they can take that position and bring their new ideas, their new experiences to the table and keep it moving. Like, if you ain't got a successor, that's the problem with Killmonger. Like in the movie, everybody was pro Killmonger. I get it, but like the first thing he did was cut off Succession. At that point, now you took my term limits out.
Yeah, right.
Now, like I was kind of with him. I ain't gonna lie. I was Team Killmonger, and then he took term limits out, and I'm like,
you know what though? He was creating a successor, but the successor was the same age. It was the nigga with the rhinos. You know, he hopped on quick.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I'm down with this squad.
Yeah.
I'm down with this team.
Definitely wasn't
Whatever
loyal.
you need. What you need to have my rhino charged to a woman, I'll do it. Even if it's my woman.
he was creating a goon. He wasn't about to see that was just a goon. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't going to get the strength of the Black Panther. You know what I mean?
He was
wasn't
like
gonna...
Dr. Dre and set it off. He had all the guns.
Oh my God.
All you had to do was get him a date with old girl. He was Gucci. Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? You should be planning for the future and like grooming somebody that, you know what I mean? Like, even if they don't win that election or whatever, like at least bring in some new ideas.
So off of that too, like, how do you is it just that now younger people are more interested in local politics? Because like, who would you groom if there's not a younger person behind you to groom? But it seems like you could do that. I mean, and seeing that the movement with younger people in politics is, you know, it's kind of refreshing for me, not just because I be knowing these people, but just because, like, all right, it's a younger face, like, trying to affect some shit. Like, I'm trying to become a homeowner here. Like, I'm like, all right, let's have a young mayor in my joint, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see my mayor on Instagram. Like, yeah, go ahead. And not just be at, like, a city hall meeting or something like that. But it's like, yo, I like to go here. Not necessarily, you know, you can't have, but, like, so many bar posts. But
Right, there you go. Moderation. Right.
You can't be drinking with the drinking partners too much.
Yeah.
We bump into you too many events.
That's a problem. Right.
We got different motivations, bro.
But I think you do have more people, and especially more women, interested in politics, or not even just more interested, but I think more aware, realizing the effect of how it really affects us, especially on local level. Because I used to hear, and still sometimes hear, but not nearly as much, oh, I only vote in presidential elections, you know, no, I don't care about local. But local is, look at what we're dealing with: potholes, water, taxes. That's all the things on a daily basis that affect us. And especially right now, while the federal, national levels kind of messed up, we can actually control what happens in the local elections, going back to that one vote and knowing that every vote really has that impact. And so, you know, kind of right now with, again, our current, I don't even have a right title for him, but number 45, people realize we're kind of on our own. We have to control this.
I'm glad you, because fuck that dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
like,
much.
I just, like, you know, you can't say it. I'm the guy that is paid to say things like fuck 45. Yeah, I mean,
right, I feel you. I was like, but you know what? It's getting to a point where you can almost be like, fuck the president, because that office just has changed totally. Like, this is not, and I'm thinking, like, is this just where America's going? Like, because it makes sense that a social media star be the head of the country because we so into like the social media thing. He's like leveraging the fuck out of that and ain't saying nothing. He ain't like, why would you just say we about to airstrike? Like, chill, bro. Like,
keep that on the top.
Some shit is
Keep
some
that on the
government
top.
shit.
I
Like,
mean,
I understand. I'm a grown man. I know I ain't in every conversation. I know this. You don't tweet that.
Yeah, keep that on the tuck, bro. Yeah, I mean, real G's move in silence.
I'm saying,
like lasagna. You know what I
You
mean?
saying it to me like I got
He's a
something to do with
Stromboli
that.
type motherfucker. You know what I
I ain't
mean?
got nothing to do with that. Like, I can't do nothing with that.
Yeah.
Like, motherfucker mad. Like, they not gonna strike you. It's gonna be some motherfucker at a deli. Like, some wild shit.
And that's what, like, I like that you bring that up. I mean, that push for local, and I think because when I look at Trump and all the mess that he's making of the government, and you look at, you know, the Congress and like that federal level or whatever, and when I'm talking about term limits and like how, like, you know, change is so, like, you know, it's hard, and like you have lobbyists and there's so much money, and you're talking, I mean, like, a federal level is extremely hard. I mean, like, you know, you're talking about, like, you know, huge corporations putting in, you know what I mean, money to like make that happen or whatever. But on a local scale, then it becomes doable. Like that grassroots, like that's a doable thing. Like to get a mayor elected, get a comptroller elected, like, you know what I mean, like that local level, you can make that change there where, you know, it almost feels impossible to have an effect. Like I vote in elections, you know, all elections, whatever, and I vote in a presidential election. But like then you look at the electoral college and all these different like, I mean, you know, people involved with it, and it almost feels as if I don't matter. You know what I mean? On that level.
Well, they do make it to where like the more you understand the more you get like, man, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Because it's weird to me, and I like to hear I'd love to hear your perspective on this. Like, people will be like, you know what? Fuck that, man. I'm just gonna vote for president because that's the big thing. That's the big thing. But like, that don't affect you day to day. Like, even if I don't agree with a lot of shit that Trump says, most of shit, probably all the shit, like most of it doesn't affect me on a day-to-day basis. But, this city councilman, like, you know what I'm saying? This could be the difference between my neighbor, keeping their yard and sidewalks together so they shovel that motherfucker when it's a snow day, or the shit being abandoned. Like, it could be that sort of thing. So how do you get people involved, or how do you change the understanding of politics? Because to the average civilian, the presidential election is most important. But honestly, it's those local that are for you
That's where you're going to see the most change, like, immediately.
Right. Well, the first thing is when you explain to people, because everyone has complaints. So again, whether it's the potholes, whether it's the taxes, you break it down to them how they realize the part that they can play in changing that. So here's a prime example. Wilkinsburg has the highest school taxes in the county, second highest in the state. That is based off of our school board and the school district. And you had previous administrations where you had school, again, no term limits. You had school board directors who were on there for 20, 25 years, every year raising the tax millage up. It wasn't overnight. They raised it up like 20 mils.
Well, death by 1,000
Exactly.
cuts.
And so then people wake up and they realize, so now you do have people looking at school board meetings more and looking at their budget like, okay, where's this going? Where's this going? And sometimes, sadly, it does take crises to make people more aware. So I take when people come to me with different issues and I explain how it works. Somebody's not happy about that neighbor who has the abandoned house. And code enforcement, we've done what we can do, and it goes to the magistrate district judge. A lot of people don't realize the role that the judicial system, the judges in our Commonwealth court, please make. They just think, Supreme Court, the higher up. No, it starts right here. That's how you get in the system. One wrong traffic ticket can lead to a whole bunch of other things. And that starts with the magisterial district judge, all of those local judge races.
I'm about to go hard on every traffic ticket I get from now on. I'm about to Edgar Snyder that day.
Do that. Not them. But do that shit.
I'm gonna go like,
it's funny you talking about that, because when you talk to locals, again, I'm a transplant, so I feel like I look at the city from an outside perspective, just looking in. Although I lived here for my entire adult life, so maybe I'm just a native. But whatever.
No, you're always from Ohio.
Oh no, the OHI Izzo. First of all, we get y'all Bow Wow, and y'all say what?
Ooh.
But I ain't even had one of them. Y'all let both thugs who gave you LeBron James, the GOAT in basketball. Please debate me. I will win all that shit. So yeah, but nah, man, it's crazy because you were talking about the traffic tickets. I don't forgot what the fuck I was saying because I was just saying
I want to go ham on all my traffic tickets because if that's where it starts. I will take a traffic ticket to the Supreme Court of the United States of America if it's going to get me off. Get me off of this. Like, how I park in here, it was $2 and now it's $95. Like, who is you paying?
How do you handle? I'm glad you said that. Because I totally forgot my other point, but I got a good point to make. How do you handle complaints on shit that you like, you know what? That's legit as fuck. But I can't really, like, for example, downtown across the street from my daycare, you can't park there between the hours of like 4 and 6, which is most motherfuckers is picking up their kids after work at 4 and 6. Like, why is there a daycare? Like, and so in the wintertime, I'm like, so you telling me I got to park 2 blocks down the street and walk these 2 small children? Like, no, just park across the street. And you're going to give me a ticket on certain days. Like, some days they there, some days they not. So how do you, when someone writes to you about that or writes to your, people about that, how do you handle those things? Like, how do you manage being a real person and also being a person who deals in these circles and understands how shit really works?
Yeah. Well, I tell them that, again, they can make the change. So if you feel that way, I say if you can get at least like 20 residents or 20 of your neighbors, get a petition. Come to write it down. Right there we go. First step. Right.
Yeah.
First step, get your neighbors. You need more people. So make sure you
We
get
don't
right.
Get your squad.
Get your squad, get your team.
Get your petition, get your squad.
So that's the first step. And I always say in person, like you can email me things, you can write letters, but if you come to a council meeting and you have all the players there, you have council, you have the borough manager, a lot of times you have the code and for all these people there, and it's on tape, it's on public record. We tape all of those.
And what you told us was there's about 6 people over there, so you could double or triple them numbers.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You come through Mob Deep,
Right,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you could easily over to be like, it's our meeting today.
Yeah,
Like we talk about
exactly.
we talk about this ticket.
Seriously, no, but that's so serious. And that's like the difference in when I see things get done because, you know, we're a small municipality. We have a smaller staff. We can't always address everything right away. But the people who come in 6 deep, 7 deep, you've already doubled up on our meeting attendance. So you have everybody's attention.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, yes, that street, okay, duly noted. And usually it gets resolved within the next 2-3 days. So in something like that, I would say get a petition, explain those reasons, like it's actually more unsafe for you to walk with your 2 young children in the street as opposed to just parking right there. Take it to the council level, the legislative body, and get your people, and that's where the change starts. I mean, and look at everything. Look at the circus coming into town. You know, there was the whole big thing about banning the circus. Enough people spoke out about that, and I should say, City of Pittsburgh Council. That's where that was. But anyway. But, you know, it's really about mobilizing. And that's what I try to really tell the residents, community members, and tell everyone. It's about understanding that politicians are public servants. People forget that. People forget you have to get out there. If you don't like someone, if they're not doing the job that you elected them to do, don't vote for them. Find another candidate. Exactly. Seats aren't safe. That's what they're saying about the midterms. Your seat isn't safe because a lot of people have planned, like, this is my career. This is where I'm going to end up at. This is where I'm going to retire. This is where I'm going to die.
Yeah, they've gotten good at being elected, and that's what they do. And like, I mean, there's little change, but they get that ticket.
Yeah,
and it's crazy because, like, you know, they were like, "Oh, drain the swamp," and then they elected all the same people. Like,
thank you.
They didn't drain the swamp, and they were like, "Where's the swamp at? What swamp were you talking about?" Because these are all the same niggas who just last swamp. Like, I left, I came back, they still here, bro. Like, what is you saying? Like. You know, and again, I believe when they say drain the swamp, they just meant like get the Negro out. Yeah, I mean that's really, you know, like make America white again. Yeah, I mean like we get that or whatever. But like, yeah, no, I mean there is that because people get in there and they vote a ticket. Yeah, I mean it's just like whatever. Boop, 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 boop. They don't like get into the politics or or even try to figure out who is what. But again, that's what I said. I think that. With all the damage that Trump is doing, especially in the judicial system, I mean, because the appointees are killing us and they're going to kill us for 20, 30 years, whatever. But, I think that the one thing that maybe comes from that is that understanding of the local politics, because I've heard more push for local politics in the last 3 years than I did my first 30 years in life. You know what I mean? So and having these politicians, like a lot of you guys, like they're younger and they are more aware and they're like, hey, we can do this on a local level. So what is your step after that? Like, so, like you believe in term limits and whatnot and you want to bring in a successor and whatnot. But what do you do after that?
The $1 million question. I think it's just about what's out there. What are you effective at? And one thing about this region, especially when it comes to Black women, we haven't had that representation. Pennsylvania's never had a female governor, female senator, never had a female congresswoman in this region, actually. So let alone a Black female congresswoman or a Black woman state representative. So there's so many things that we need to do better on. Just Wilkinsburg, first Black female mayor. So all these things, it's 2018. So And I feel that you need that representation at those levels to really infiltrate the change. So it starts with local, but what I'm hopeful for, faithful for, is that, this does infiltrate into when we get to the state and till we get federal. So we don't have this mess anymore, so that it's not all old white men at the table. You have Black women, you have Black men, Latinos, younger people, LGBT, so that you can really ensure that everyone's voices are represented. So with that said, kind of not answering the question, I think it just depends on what's out there. There's so much more work that needs to be done. And so it's just, where do I think the people feel I best aligned to represent their needs?
Man, you are good at this. I can't wait to see your career. I talk to people for a living. Me and Ed sit here across from people for a living, and all we do is read and react. And some people, they feel like, these are, answers they have on deck. But that's a good answer. It's how you progress as anything and as a profession. It's
Right.
10 years from now, I would like to maybe this or that, the other. But success is finding out what you're good at, find out what you're good at in that new role that you're in, and then wait for opportunities to develop. And then, it's like a running back. You wait for the hole to open up, and then you hit that hole. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's important in politics, is to, stay cognizant and aware of what you're doing, and, with the people. Because there's so few politicians that, at least that have been in it for a while, that I feel are actually listening to me because they actually want to know what I'm saying, as opposed to, I'm just waiting for you to stop so I can give you my card and then go vote for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a tough transition though.
Yeah.
That's because most people don't know what the fuck is going on. They know what they don't like. They know what the problems are. They don't know what's happening. You know what I mean? Everybody know what the fuck they don't like, and don't realize that, there's probably a neighborhood of people who don't like the same shit that I don't like, and we can band together and affect change, and we just don't do it. People are I think with politics, most people are just lazy. It's hard to get into something where you don't have, or you don't view that you have a direct effect on the outcome. So, you battle against that all the time, and to be able to overcome that, I commend you on that, because I'll quit. If you're not trying to hear me, I'm like, well, fuck it.
Yeah.
Right.
And how do you how do you face it? Because you have what I've noticed with, especially the right and Republicans or whatever, they are fervent and they are out, and they it's like the white lady at Starbucks, you know what I mean, or at Apple. Apple Care told me,
it's just the white lady in customer service situation. Just say that
they will,
she be at Trader Joe's, Marshalls.
Truth.
Don't matter.
They when they're upset, they make it known. They gather other people. They go out and they're in waves and trolls. I just went through a situation where I had thousands of people in mentions because, when they're upset about something or whatever, they go out and they actually do that. And it's tough because you'll have people, and again, I'm looking at right, left, it's a spectrum or whatever, but in that right, they're very fervent. And in the left, I see a lot of passion or whatever, but the organization doesn't seem to be anywhere near on that same level or whatever. One, why do you believe, that is the way it is? And two, how do you combat that?
Yeah. I think sometimes what you see with the left is that there's that perceived we got to take the higher road. We can't call this out, or because then we're stooping to their level. But somehow we're always losing. Somehow we don't have control over things, and it is that right. And they mobilize and they get out there and they stay in your face.
That's by morals.
Yes, right.
Somebody told me being left is because you can't do the same shit that they do, because you said they'll do cutthroat shit and and
You're
elect dirty politics, and they'll do anything to get by. And as a liberal, you're just I get to know all the things that are wrong, but not do shit about it.
I know all the shit I can get away with.
Yeah, I can get away with
all the shit that I can do. Gotta go to this. And you over there trying to be ethical, cool. You'll pass that prerequisite. That's what's up. Anybody who got an A in ethics is not going to be president. You're not going to make it.
But it's about just having some balls. That's the problem. Like with 2016, everything that could go wrong in that election went wrong, but it kept being the same thing. They kept patting like Donald Trump on his head, like, oh, it's going to go away because everybody's going to wake up and realize like he's a horrible man and he'll never. And then, you know, he's still the last one standing in the primaries and the debates. And it's like, oh no, this is their candidate. Like, yeah, like you, while we were sitting here, no. And even towards the end, they kept thinking like, oh, America's going to wake up. America's going to wake up. And it's like, no, we're not, because history repeats itself. So we have to stop. I hate to say giving people so much credit, but we have to be prepared and we have to have an action plan. So we have to call things out. We have to stay forward on it. Like I know sometimes everybody, you know, sometimes you have the people who quote unquote protest or who don't protest, and you see it on the internet info like, oh, you weren't out there, whatever. What's the point? You know what? There's not going to be one magic way we can do. We need all of this. We need every single path.
Every right in the Constitution that is granted to us. In order to affect change in the system, we need to utilize voting, activism, like you said, petitions, like showing up, everything. You know what I mean?
It's a process. It can't be a one step. So we need the people who are out on the front lines who are protesting. We need people to elect and support candidates so we get on the inside as well. It's going to take all of that. And that's one thing the other side has done pretty well, to where we're always like scrambling on our feet like, oh Lord, this is coming up, what are we gonna do? We need to stay ready. But even more so, part of the problem with the left is they don't practice what they preach. So they always talk about, oh, the younger wave, we need more diversity and inclusion. But two of the presidential nominees I'm hearing for the Democrat are Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders again. So have we not learned our lesson?
Are they old white dudes?
We ain't got no up and coming.
I ain't been up on my politics, but are they old?
Did nobody have a good freshman year in North Carolina? Like nobody gonna be the number one draft pick?
And male? Wait, the trifecta? That's wait. We gonna bring progress with the trifecta.
Hold on, how you gonna?
We gonna drain the swamp with the swamp?
How you gonna tell me that he was too old in 2016, but when 2020 come up?
It's breakthroughs in new technology that medical community has come through in the 2 years.
Well, my level of income and the advances in modern technology is no reason to believe I can't live to be 300 years old. Fuck out of here.
3D print that liver up, keep it moving.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, and that's what you're starting to see though. You're starting to see, because even with the Lamb situation or whatever, it was like, you know, You see the liberals saying like, oh, hey, we need to like, you know, fresh face, this and the other. One, Hillary is the fresh face and she's entitled. And it was kind of one of those like, oh, you got to wait in line. Right. She's due. You know what I mean? Like, so that's all she was really. Don't get me wrong. She's done great things in her career, whatever. I mean, like however you feel about it. But like, that was just a next up. You know what I mean? Like, you know, in that situation, you have Bernie, which is, again, another old white dude. You know what I mean? And not all of his, what he was preaching was for the black folks. Even in the Democratic Party, a lot of it, they'll use this to get elected. But then when it comes time to, you know what I mean, get that legislation cracking, they don't hear about us. You know what I mean? Like, we wasn't there, you know? So, like, you know, like you have that. But the, you know, you look at this, like they're picking these middle ground centrists, and what's center these days is blowing my mind. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what you consider a center politician, like, is, you know, like, okay. But, yeah, I mean, there's centrist white dudes because they feel like in order to win, and that's what a lot of my liberal, especially my liberal white friends will say, is like, we're just trying to win an election. So let's first win this election, and then we'll get to these needs. And that has been for the last 100 years. You know what I mean? It's been like, hey, you guys just wait. You know what I mean? You women, you black people, you oppressed people, like, look, let's just win this next election. Right. And then once we win that shit, I promise you, as soon as we get in there, then that's when the waves come in. You know what I mean? They said it right before they blew fucking Martin Luther's face off. You know what I mean? Just wait for that shit. And Martin Luther was saying that. He was like, look, man, like, that's the problem is like these liberals that are going, yo, wait your turn. And like, yeah, I mean, let's get this done. Let's win. Let's suppress whatever your issues are. Let's get this win. Let's pick this middle of the road white dude, and then we'll get to you. And we haven't seen it in
We have
ever.
not. We have not. And one thing I want to say, especially when it comes to local, it's not always about the parties either. So we have to stop perpetuating it's us, that, them. I actually received enough Republican write-ins that I was on the Republican ballot as well as the Democratic ballot in November, because people are like, I don't care about all that other stuff. Are you getting things done? Can we trust you to have a safe neighborhood with our streets plowed or with, green space, all of those things, because that's what it comes to at the end of the day. But somehow we keep getting caught up in this ideology instead of just practicing an application. So I don't know. To me, it's just two of the same thing, just one different spectrum. Yeah. And so until the Democratic Party gets that, I mean, honestly, in 2020, I don't see it just being two parties anymore.
Man, it should be,
Can it just be two parties? Like, if you think of how different people are, how is it just two parties?
I know.
There's no two views on any issue. It's so highly complex or whatever. And I mean, two parties is literally the least amount of parties that you can have before you have a dictatorship. Like, it's just like, it's like when you get paid, it's not minimum, it's not slavery, because it's minimum wage politics, bro. We are working in minimum wage politics. Anything less is illegal.
Yeah,
like, it's unconstitutional.
Anything less is tyranny.
We're working with the bare minimum of parties.
In this motherfucker,
you got motherfuckers that got like 13 parties in their country. We got 2. It's either red or blue. And it's like, but maybe I'm a fuchsia type.
But it's crazy though, because you brought up like I was brought up and it was like you a Democrat. I don't even know what that means. I just know Democrats kind of aren't as racist. I think
they don't say it to your face.
Like, they're not as racist. For some reason, something about the color red. I'm like, nah. It's the reason you try to get that bull to charge at, and you make make a mockery out of this bull with this red velvet fucking cape, and he's just running by you in the car. Like, nah, man, I don't fuck with the color red. Had I joined a gang, I'd have been a Crip. I mean, I don't know, man. Lil Wayne's a blood, and I don't trust nothing he says. Lil Wayne lies to you in every rap. We just found out he didn't get paid for the first platinum album he produced. He's high on lean. He's got a fucking crack in his forehead. It's tattooed on his skull. I don't understand this guy. He's a blood.
So how do we move towards more options as a system? Because like I was caught up in that that third party wave or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm an independent.
Most people I believe really truly.
Yeah, I mean most people are. In application you're really an independent.
You're talking about voting, you vote party, but in application you're probably independent.
I have leanings. Like on the spectrums and whatnot, the squares. But I'm an independent. But like, how do you? Like with that third wave, it was like, all right, well, if we, and it was the presidential wave, and I've been educated over the last couple of years, it has to start at the ground root or whatever. But like, I was like, oh, well, the Green Party, that sounds cool. Yeah, like if we get enough votes, then maybe it'll wake people up. And then, I'm like, then Jill turned out to be a fucking loon, and I was just like, no, that's not the wave. And then you start to look at how people will use those tactics to split up the votes so that one party or the other will lose because that it becomes a split vote as opposed to a real option. So how do we get that as a viable option, not only in our communities, but also up to the federal level? Right.
We need to get more people to run, really get more people involved in the political system, because there's so many different other campaigns or races where I hear where it's like people are like, well, that's our only person running, because you'll have people who are the only person on the ballot and no one else decides to run, and you have people who haven't had competition in 10, 20 years. So just because that person's the only name on the ballot, that's who you're going to get. So until we can produce more options, and when I say produce, it's not just because I know everyone's solution is like, you got to get out and vote, which you do, but you also have to support those candidates, because money is a big thing. Well, money is huge.
Campaign reform.
So the campaign limits. And so in that, knowing, for example, just to give a quick shout out to Summer Lee, who's running for the 34th district state representative. And so one thing, what she's made sure she's done, even if she can't out fundraise her opponent, her grassroots and outreach game is tight. She is knocked on outwalk.
She can outwalk him, man.
She can knock on more doors.
With the mouths in.
She can touch folks. Don't fuck around and get touched. She's gonna touch your auntie.
Oh, you thought you had that vote. Until I rang that doorbell. Till they saw your girl.
But she's waking a lot of people up. And one of the things she talks about, because, you know, a lot of people, like you said, Ed, are independent in practice, or maybe you said, Dave, but part of the problem with Pennsylvania is a closed primary. So essentially, if you're an independent, you can't vote in May, and that's where most of the decisions are made at.
Yeah.
So you're disenfranchised right there.
I'd definitely be voting in the Republican dip just to throw them off a little bit. Yeah, I definitely, because they let you, just if you're listening and you are an independent or even a Democrat, go vote in the Republican. Yeah, just go throw it off. Yeah, because they let you.
Create mayhem.
Yeah, just because they let you. It's like, okay.
Tyrone. I don't fuck with cigarettes.
I religiously, it's like one of my favorite things to do is the RNC, the primaries, and just go in there and just because I can't for the DNC, but I'll go and fuck some shit up for the Republican if I can. Like, I'll show up with 12 motherfuckers. Like,
yeah, it was crazy because it feels like if you voting green or independent, you voting back. It's like you hustling backwards.
Yeah, it feels like you're throwing weight. And
it's like I'm just throwing this shit. Just out the window like Chris Rock in that movie. I Think I Love My Wife. Just throwing dollars out the window, letting motherfuckers just fight on the ground for that shit. Like, get my vote. Do my vote out here. Do something. Do something. Who won it?
So just because I don't know, man, we can keep going. I just want to. I think a very important thing for me
7 different thoughts right there.
Yeah, a very important thing for me is education. I think that a large part of when you look at organization and you look at the RNC, you look at like the red side or whatever. You know, those folks that have more money, have more education, they have more time to go out and like say, take a day off and vote. Whereas, somebody that's fighting for rights might not have the time to take out and vote, may not have the education to understand the system or whatever. I think that's part of the reason why, it's harder to organize because they don't understand what it means. Whereas like you look at the other side and they've been trained like how to, do this from the ground up or whatever. And I think education is a big thing. So you as a mayor and like, now and in your future, whatever, what moves are you making to, accentuate education in your neighborhood and, further out into the world?
Civic engagement. Civics 101, we don't have that in majority of our schools, and that's where we get disenfranchised because we don't know how does the city work, how does this borough work. So what I try to do in an initiative started a few years ago, community conversations, just having conversations about what is happening in our region, what is happening in Wilkinsburg. We had a raccoon problem a few years ago. We had a conversation off of that. How can we combat the raccoon, the critters, better code enforcement practices? So you really are bringing, because we can't, again, go back to thinking everybody's going to show up at council, everybody's going to come out to the government meeting. So it's bringing it to them and educating.
Meet them where they're at. And that's my background, community outreach. That's what I've done. That's what I was trained to do. And it's just in me. And so you have to educate them and get that civics 101. We should really, when you look at election day, that should be a national holiday. It should be a national holiday.
Motherfuckers talk before the podcast. Y'all motherfuckers talk before the podcast.
I'm glad you said it. I didn't want my listeners to be like, he just keeps saying the same shit. I'm glad you said all the things that I've been saying on this podcast. 166 episodes. You thought it was gonna be an Ohio episode. Oh no.
Wait. Ohio does have open primaries and early voting. Pennsylvania should do that.
Listen, man, we look, if y'all ain't been listening, Ohio running shit, we killing it out this motherfucker. See what the score is to the Cavs game before I get too excited. Shit gonna hurt my soul.
But no, real quick, it should definitely be a national holiday. We should encourage people to get out there, do their duty, because like you said, people aren't going to take off of work for that because they can't afford to, or if people don't get paid time off, why are they going to do that? Yeah. And not everyone's going to get up right away before they go to work to go vote. And people are tired and hungry when they got off of work, so they're not.
I got off of work, and and that's what it is. Like usually, I'll get off of work. Like if I don't, because I'm not the earliest morning dude or whatever. I'll get off, and I gotta I gotta find a place to park or whatever. And then if you gotta pay for parking, shit, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And then you get in there, and there's a line because everybody else is doing it or whatever. And like, if you got kids, if you got like a babysitter, if you got responsibilities outside of that, like. That
it's
whole day
over.
could be, you know what I mean?
We create so many obstacles, and yet we like shame people. Oh, you didn't vote. And the vote is important, but we need to remove those obstacles before we start pointing the fingers.
Automatic registration. I'd love to see that happen.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Why do I have to register? Like, you know me. Yeah, like, bro, you got all my information. You got my fingerprints. You got my, you got all that. You know me, bro. Like, why do I have to register? You know what I mean? Like, every time. Like,
yeah, I mean, damn. They're going to say you might have moved, but that's cool. At least, can we just do that for the cars? Can we just be like, you could just be automatically registered to, well, I don't know. But I do feel that. Because I'm just like, every time, I understand why they have arguments against, like, this is why we got to do it, but it still also just feels like a
there's whole countries that are just automatic registration, bro. You know what I mean? Like, when I say, like, that's the thing is that, like, any argument that, like,
name
anybody
the
gives.
countries and, like, how
Well,
how America's
I'll
going to
Google
feel
it for you.
about
I'll Google
I'm just
it after
saying,
the
because
thing.
motherfuckers going to be like, oh, you talking about
You can't do it in
Yugoslavia? Nobody
America.
give a fuck
And that's
about
what-
Yugoslavia.
like, that's what everybody's
They
argument
ain't
is.
us.
That's why we ain't got universal health care, because they're like, oh, universal health care, that shit don't work, bro. Like, it's too big. It's like, bro, Canada, niggas is going across. Like,
Yes.
I'm like, I'm mad because my peoples didn't go further enough north. Yeah, you know I mean, like they stopped in Pittsburgh. They should have kept going.
Nah,
I'd have been, my
bro.
pills have been a little cheaper. Yeah, I mean, like I could have died with a cheaper, medical bill. Like,
Mad water
Little-
to get there, fam. And then the water just falling off a cliff.
the Great Lakes.
don't
That's why your
fuck-
people
we
stopped
ain't
too.
fucking with that, like-
Y'all, your people's went a little bit further than mine.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
we got
so-
to the water, it was like, nah. Shit real.
We couldn't get past the river. Yeah, y'all at least went to the lake.
Yeah, nah. We was just like, nah, we good. Just seem good right here.
Hey, you keep going, Tubman. We good over here.
Hey, tell me straight. I'm just gonna settle in. We got a department store. I'm gonna work there.
Oh my god. Oh god.
I think we gotta, because we done, this Buzzy, he done came here 27 minutes ago. Told us 5 minutes. We hanging out with politicians, man. This is dope. Life is dope.
We definitely got to have you in again at some point,
to.
man. It'd be a regular.
I just respect the real.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, especially in your position, just to be real. Like, I'm just like,
Yeah.
all right, I feel comfortable with somebody like that in that position.
Yeah,
Like,
it's very rare we find somebody that like puts us at ease. You know what I mean, that's our job.
Right. No, I had a great time, so I would definitely love to come back and celebrate 200.
200.
Nice,
There you
nice.
go.
Yeah, we
Those hundo.
that's we'll always put it out there, man. We had a mayor on the 100. We'll have another mayor on the 200. You know what I mean?
Is it Dos Hundo, or how do we want to do that?
Yeah, I think those hundo. I don't know.
Hundo.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We'll figure that out. But let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me Facebook, Mayor Marita Garrett. Mayor Marita Garrett.
Yeah, Sriracha better. Don't be coming over there with no well drinks talking about, can I buy you a drink? Sriracha better.
Top shelf, yes. Twitter at Marita Garrett, and then Instagram at Marita __ Garrett. And you just find me, council meetings out in the streets of Wilkinsburg, wherever, in the streets.
Be the 7th at that council meeting.
Right, be please.
Be number 7.
That's a new hashtag, be the 7th. Yes, right.
Hey, let the people know.
No, I had
where
too
they-
much fun on here, like way
Nah,
too
it was
much
dope.
fun.
Let them know where they can find us. Dude.
We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and Google Play under Drinking Partners. And you can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod.
We would like to thank Mayor Marita Garrett for coming down here, kicking it with us, keeping it real. For those who are listening, trying to judge, she did not drink while she was here. We handled that for her. Yeah, I mean, she contracted the goons.
We drank for 3.
to drink. Yeah, I mean, so we took care of that. But nah, it was just real shit on here, man. You know what I'm saying? Invest in local politics. That's the shit that affects you on a daily basis, man. Know what's going on around you and affect that shit. Don't just sit back and complain because I'll unfollow you. And as always, Drinking Partners is the crew. Epicast is the family, and we out here.